This is called Golden Vignette. Let me show you the palette. This is a very limited palette. We have, I'll bend the palette up so it's a little more easily seen. We have our vignette color, which is yellow ochre and white with a little black added to it. Almost kind of a, well, it's that color, okay? And then we have burnt sienna, which is right out of the tube. That's going to be a lot, or cover a lot of the area. In the waves, behind the waves, and even some on the rocks. Then we have burnt umber right out of the tube. That'll be used for the darks and the rocks. Here we have yellow and 1/2 orange, and I've put some white into it, and that'll be up in the sky, some of the clouds, it'll be the eye of the wave, it'll be down on the shore. And then we have the same color added into more white, and this will be for some of the highlights on the foam and just general highlights on the rocks. We have yellow and white, which will be our lightest light. And what's this? Well, it's just a neighbor there ready to go forth, maybe for a signature, just black. Okay. On the brushes, notice we come out with a limited supply of brushes too. Limited palette, limited brushes. Sable brush, a bunny brush, a fan brush, a knife, a mop brush, and where'd you go? Okay, there's the twiggy brush. So let's come up to the canvas. You can see on the canvas that we have the pre-priming. Boy, that's great. That's kind of a golden orange with just a little bit of green in it, and it's dry. Pre-primed, and then you have that drawing on top. And as you look, see, can you see my arm? It almost matches, color coordinated. That's always in case you put some paint on yourselves. It's the right color. Okay, let's come down with some medium, and we'll start by pushing around some of our burnt sienna. This is just straight out of the tube. I have a little bit of medium with it. I'll use a little more medium. Sometimes your color may be a little dry, and it may be that it's just dry, or it may be that when you open it, all the oil came out the tube. Okay, here we come up to the canvas. Ooh, that's just right because it's not too runny, and yet I can smooth it around. That's the way I like to consider the medium. It thins it out, but not real runny. Okay, push this up. We are still going to add some of that green color around the edges for the vignette, but right now we're starting out with this color. You could almost leave this as the vignette color, but I'm not going to choose to do that. We'll put on that kind of golden tone. Okay, we'll come down a little lower with same color into our back wave. When I'm doing a small area, I'm less apt to pick up medium. I'll use some medium when I come down to the next two areas. This is still with a burnt sienna. Boom! Boy, this is the Red Sea. I think the party in the Red Sea was one of the greatest color separations in history. Eat your heart out, photographers. Okay, we come down to there, and then we're going to come to the next area. Still burnt sienna, still the bunny brush, and still some medium. Come across. You can see the little pencil lines still, so that's part of my objective, is to save them just for the further detail that will go on. Come across here. And let's take some of this same color and just swish into the rocks before we put any burnt umber on. This is burnt sienna. Okay, very casually done, but there we are. Okay, let's come, before we do anything on the interior, I'll clean the brush, and I'll pick up a little bit of medium, and then this is the sort of golden green color. That's a better way of saying it, instead of golden color, golden green. Yellow, ochre, and white, and some black. When you see yellow, ochre, and white, that's a lot of yellow ochre. Okay, this is going to be the one that will go around the edge of the canvas. Remember, the name of this is called Golden Vignette, so you want to use the colors that would indicate that. As you blend, see how it touches in, and that's a nice in-between value. Nice in-between color or value, whatever you wish. More in-between color, because the value isn't much different. They're about as dark as each other. And when you put this on, especially down low, you can see where you're making a little use of what was already there and then what's going on top. That's the joy of having the under-primed canvas. It's also a further joy as you paint the easel. It's the same color. Boy, that's pretty. I hope the next artist that uses this easel feels the same. Come across there. I think I'll stop there and I'll leave this open. Should I? Well, I think not. I think not. Make up your mind. Okay, do it, don't. Okay, we'll put some on. Because when you put that orange color on, it'll blend in a little bit with the green, which will work all right. I still left one spot that's clear, dry. Okay, let's come with our next color, clean the brush. Jab it in there. The bunny brush, as you clean that, if you sort of squeeze it, you're less apt to lose the hair on it by just squeezing it dry. Okay, our next color, this is orange, and well, let's take it from the top. It's yellow and 1/2 orange. Then you're adding a little white to it. I have just a small amount of medium with that, and then that'll come up here. We're going to use this several places. We'll use it up into the sky. Ooh, boy, that's pretty. Blend around. You're going to use some of this as little clouds. I'll take a quick trip down to the palette and come back. I hope you stayed right here so I didn't go too fast for you. Right there and over here. Now I have those on in the right position. Let's blend just a little bit, which will make them blend in more and won't be quite as dark, quite as bright. Fan them back and forth. See, the brightest light is not in the sun area yet. We're still going to go lighter with our same color, but it has more white in it. Oh, that's a beautiful blend. That's the joy in finishing the area. Just blend. Don't you feel like a conductor? Left-handed, ambidextrous. Oh, let's not get silly. Okay. Blend. Now we'll take, the next thing is going to go a little bit lighter up there. We'll take and clean the brush, and we'll take our orange and white. This, when I say orange and white, it's the yellow and orange and white. I need to keep remembering that because the yellow softens a little bit. And this is the one that has more white than we were using. Okay, we'll come up to the sky with this, and right at the apex, right at the top, push that around. See, that's a mighty fine glow. And you only put that there in the sky. We won't come down any lighter any places. Okay, I'm going to back up and come with our darkish orange color, and we'll put it in the eye. We'll put it in the 2 eyes. We'll put it in a 3rd eye, and we'll put it at the shore. Okay, here comes the color. This is with the bunny brush. I'll use a dry bunny brush and just a little paint. Let's start in the major area, which is this eye. I'll just drop some paint off in each of these areas so that I can have some there before I come back and blend. A little bit here, and then down at the shore. Now the shore I'll put it on, and then I'll go ahead and blend it. That's a straight line. We have a straight line coming down from where the sun will be. Come into the next eye area and just soften a little bit. That's a very nice compatible color, the orange into the burnt sienna. We come up to this area, and notice here, the difference between this and the other areas, I left a blank spot. The canvas was dry where I put this. On the others, I had the burnt sienna in. I think, no, I guess I left a little space there. Anyway, it'll look much brighter if you leave a little bit of a dry spot and just put the paint right on top of the dry canvas. Here we need to push it around, and I need to push it around a little harder so that it's not quite as light. Good. Okay, now we have that on, we have that on, we have that on. All right, let's come over to the rocks, and we'll take and change brushes. This is a sable brush, and this is a burnt umber, straight out of the tube. Fill it up pretty good. Okay, we're up to the rocks, pushing this on, and as you push this on, you're leaving some of the brown or the burnt sienna show as the lights. We're adding the darks now, and this sort of melds down in with it. I'll put some down here so you get the sharp boundaries, but we'll have to blend a lot so it's not as sharp as if it were unblended. Okay, some of this, oh, we got a little rock out here too. Okay, that's dark. And then at the bottom of the rock, and in particular, notice this area, because this is going to be where we will have a flat shelf, and we'll have a little detail interest there, which I will show you as I start putting the lights on it. Okay, on this rock, come and blend a little further, thinking again, variations on the sizes, shapes of the darks. Okay, once you have that much on the rocks, it'd be very helpful if we came down to the palette, not down to the palette, but down to where the brushes are. And I'm going to pick up the bunny brush. I'll clean it, paper towel, squeeze it instead of pulling on the brush, and just feather back and forth. Back and forth. Your burnt sienna is very dry, so the umber is softening as it blends into it, and that's what we wish for. And while I have that brush, I'll just wipe it slightly for saying to make it more clean, and then let's see, is there anything else we need to blend? No, I guess we already did blend across there. Okay, so we'll lay this brush down, and we'll come down and pick up. I know why this color's over there. We need to pick up some foam color. We don't have any foam color around here. Where'd you go? Okay, we're going to make some. This is yellow and white. And a little bit of the black. That'll give us a nice gray color. When you're painting foam on the painting, in this case, which is kind of orangish, then you always decide that foam would have a little leaning towards that color. And to make it lean towards that, we'll just pick up a little bit of the orange and put into it. This is very helpful. When you paint a sunset, you might find some pinks in the sky. Well, then the foam should have just a little bit of pink. Okay, there's our color. We'll take the fan brush, put just a little bit of juice on it, and swish around. And now we come up to the canvas. Okay, there we are. Splash up. And notice as you splash into the sky, you mix in with the sky a little bit, and you say, well, do you want that color? Certainly do. When you have that color, it looks like it's very thin, very transparent, so you're seeing some of the sky through it. So mix a little bit into the sky. And the same thing will happen when you come down to the bottom of this wave. Touch it down so it touches below into the foam. Boy, sometimes it sounds like I'm bossy saying, get in there and do it. What I'm really saying is, that's the way I'd do it. And I'd suggest you do it that way. There's always a chance of showing you a technique, and then you say, well, I would just as soon do that, but I know another way of making it a little better. Please do it. And as I go across the country teaching, I may run into you, and then you'll show me your way, and I'll say, oh, that's what I want to do from now on. Okay, let's go over here. Oh, could I say something too? This, the teacher that I had, you know, when I'm talking about teeter-totter and all that, I had this greatest teacher. His name was Claude Buck. And his paintings, he would have instructions on the back how to do them. And he, you know, it was just an idea for a guide for himself, but he didn't care who knew how. So he wanted everyone to be a little bit better than they were. And if he felt he could share a technique with you that he had discovered, fine. He'd go on and better himself too. Okay, this is just into the distance. I really like this. I was going to use a little blue, black, and white, but that would have been too blue. This works very well. You still get the impression of being blue, but it's mixing in a little bit more with harmony of the burnt sienna. So what color did we use? We used our black and our yellow and white with just a little orange. And I like what came about as a result of that. That was a nice accident. Okay, here comes the wave below. And then we're taking some of the same color and run along the shore. Right in here and right in there. Make a little, almost like scallops. Scallop, or you can call them sways if you wish. That's what I mean by scallops. Little foam in against the rocks, and then kind of a gentle swish back and forth, and a little bit in here too, the trough of the wave. Okay, we'll take some of that same color and we'll take a different brush. This is going to be the Twiggy brush, and if anything, let's go just a little darker, just a little extra black into that. I have to use a lot of medium. And then this will be our foam pattern color. See how you fill that in? It just flows full so that when we can draw a small little line, or we can flatten it out and let it come off the side. Okay, to the canvas. We'll have these going from, well, if you start at the bottom, you're going left to right. If you start at the top, you're going right to left. See how that's just a teeny little bit darker than the color that is on the top of the foam patterns, although it's the same thing, the black, yellow, and white with a little bit of orange in it. Oh, it's so pleasing when things work out right, huh? They always work out right when you stick with it. There was an artist who made the comment, he said, let me look at you. It's sometimes easier to talk to you when I'm looking you right in the eyes. He said that every painting that he painted at one time was a failure during the painting. So what he was really doing was sticking to it. You know, you've heard it said, each of us should have a small, or a fellow with a small little hammer stand behind us when it's time to quit, just go thunk. In his case, he knew when not to quit, to go on. I don't say that every painting you do is always a failure at some point. It's nice sometimes when the drawing and everything just comes right along all the way, but a lot of them you have to labor a little bit with them. Okay, this is continuing the foam color. And as we come over to the rock area, let's do some of this too. I'm saying that, and I'm not at the rock area yet. I hope I'm not misleading any of the camera crew. Let's take some of the same brush, same color, and we'll put some of this as running down foam. And I'll put some as lying flat foam. I'll blend that in just a minute. And then we'll have some dripping off foam. Okay, I'll take what kind of brush do I want? Let's take the little mop brush. Mop brush is kind of nice just for patting softly. Just blend it up so you don't see it quite as defined as it was put on. And I need to put some of that same color on for the little rock here. But we don't put any on this rock. We do put some foam near it, and that makes it feel like it's running there. But the other ones, the foam, the water's been on them and it's running off. Once it gets to this one, it's sort of already down, and at high tide, he'll get his drink. Okay, we'll stick with the mop brush for putting on the lights in the eye of the wave. This is yellow and white, and dry brush, the mop brush. We'll put this right up in the corner, kind of the glint in the eye, and let's put just a little bit up there, just slightly. There's a lot of paint up there already, so you want to just soften without having very much. That's good. Okay, now down here, let's put this on, and notice it blends in quite a lot right in place, and that's what I'm trying to do. Just hold it there so it's not quite as large. Okay, that's enough. I don't put any in that one, and don't put any in this one. Now we have two other things we need to do. Well, three. We need to put lights on down here. We need to put lights on the big foam, and just a little work over on the rocks. We'll take, let's see. Let's take the fan brush, and we're going to use yellow and white with the fan brush, and this is for the big wave first. I want to show you something that sometimes helps. When you're going to put foam on and you say, well, that's so wet, it won't hold, why don't we wipe a little bit where it's going to go so it's sort of on a dry part of the canvas. Putting the paint on first, the gray, makes it so it's a little bit stained, which is better than just the pure canvas, but now we have the chance of blending into it a little bit. There and here, splash up. As I put these on, I think I'll go ahead and blend just a little bit at the same time. Sometimes I put them all on, then come back and blend. Other times, blend as you go. They're both right, whatever you feel comfortable in doing. Okay, we'll come down to a second row. I think let's do a little bit of this. Before I come down the second row, let's take a little of the burnt sienna and make what we call just the dump of the wave. This is with the burnt sienna and the fan brush. This will give just a little more movement of the water. It's almost like a comb, isn't it? You kind of overlapping strokes like that. Okay, clean the brush, and then we'll come back to our highlights, which is yellow and white, which we've been using. Okay, I think I have enough there. We have just a little bit over here, not very much there. Kind of, sort of blend it. Better come across the bridge just a little bit. That's good. Now I need to put more light here, so I'll just dash the canvas. You stay up here, zoom, back. And what do we have up here? Okay, we have a little splash up there, and we have this on. Still need to come down with some more paint in this area. Okay, now when I come to here, let's go to the knife. Here's the knife picking up a little bit of paint. And we'll put this several places. We'll put it on here, and I'll come right down across that line. See, break that line. That is a very pleasing effect because it gives some variations to an otherwise just straight across line. Let that come right down. Sparkle a little bit back and forth along there. This is going to be a real sparkly one. Come up into here. I do have a little bit of a discomfort with this being so blank. Okay, well, let's change that. Well, let's just add some of this light as a kind of little foam up there. I suppose instead of being a foam pattern, that's more water just kind of moving a little bit, and then it sparkles. Okay, good. Same thing out here, just a little sparkle. Okay, now that same light with a knife, this, just a teeny little bit, same thing. This will come right down. Where's the sun? There's the sun, straight line. Bam, right in there. And then our light on the sand itself. Gee, look at that glow. Push it around, then you can blend it a little bit, and it won't be quite as bright. I need it bright, but I don't want a spotlight. I want a kind of a diffused light. And then let's take the same knife, just stay up here. I'll go down there quickly and come back. Zoom, here we go. And then this is just a little bit of a trail of previous foam on. Okay, before we go to the rocks, we'll take and blend this a little bit with the soft bunny brush, the Buck's bunny brush. And we'll take a dry, clean bunny brush. Just touch it, blend. Softly there, that's a little snowball. Blend over here, splash a little up. When you're doing the bunny brush blending, I'm drawing a little character with it, but I do it very carefully with the corner of the brush. But we'll blend slightly, back and forth. Push that around slightly, back and forth. Ooh, that's a glow. Vignettes are very effective. You could use blues, you could use a variety of colors out there in a vignette, and people accept it. See, they would say that's a very beautiful seascape, even though you say, boy, have you ever seen anything like that? Okay, probably a touch there. Let me take just a little bit of orange. Which orange should we use? Let's use the darker one. This is the one that we used up in the sky first for the clouds and the first place for the sun. That lightens just a bit. Oh, that's just what I want. Now we'll go to the rocks. On the rocks, we started quite a lot of them, or quite a bit of them. So this is taking a little bit of a knife, and I'm going to come over and put a few little strokes on. Okay, now the place that I need to have you be is right there. Let me hold my finger there. Do you see that? Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this orange on, blend it, but now watch the next thing, and again, just stay there because I'm going to pick up some of the same yellow and white. When I pick this up now, it's on this edge, just very thin. Now watch how I do this. I'll try to get very carefully. Let the drums roll. Here it comes. Right on the edge, and after you put it on, Then you kind of push it back, push it back. Oh, see how that goes back? And then you feel like there's a sharp edge. Let a little bit drop off. That's good. Okay, now let me make a final comment as we tear ourselves away from Golden Vignette. Listen to this. Golfers like to have less strokes to get below par. Artists like to have less strokes to paint above par. Happy golfing, happy painting. See you around the course.